Okay, all right. That's just a good place to end it with Collins Ajibola on the headlines analysis on what is trending. Collins Ajibola is a security analyst. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we'll be speaking to Ejike Okpa on trade and security. Do stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has become the 7th Director General of the World Trade Organization. She took office on March 1, 2021, becoming the first woman and the first African to serve as Director General. Her term of office will expire on August 31st, 2025. On her first day of work, she called for a technology transfer when it comes to COVID-19 vaccines and urged members nations to reach a deal to reduce overfishing after years of fruitless talks as she laid out her top priorities after taking office. Director General Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is a Nigerian economist and former government minister. On July 15, 2020, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, when interviewed by Times magazine, told a reporter that global trade can help ease the COVID-19 pandemic, tackle climate change, and restore faith in the system of cooperation that has faltered in recent years. She further said that the World Trade Organization has a central role to play as facilitator. If the World Trade Organization did not exist, she said, you would have to invent it. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has much left her goals for the organization, the first woman to ever hold the position of World Trade Organization. Director General, the mandate of the World Trade Organization is relatively circumscribed to make and enforce the rule of the road for global trade and resolve any problem whatsoever when it arises on trading. Now, on this note, we're joined live by Ejike Okpa, a global affairs analyst residing in Texas. Ejike, if you can hear me very well, you know, our own very Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has taken up the giant stride. From your perspective as a global affairs analyst, how would you rate Africans, especially Nigerians, fit in the global scale of trade movement? You know, understanding the World Trade Organization and their parameters.
In response to your question, again, thank you for your question on the subject of WTO. Happy and glad a Nigerian has made the round of being a Director General. As to what Africa and Nigeria is going to expect, is up in the air. WTO does not force trade between nations. Nations that want to trade with each other will have to, offer what it is they are trading on, and then, it's just a case of a buyer and a seller. What do you have to sell? What do you have to buy? And then we generate an agreement. Is it a one-time thing? Is it ongoing? And so that's how trade functions. I mean, if a part of that trade, alliance is having issue that they need some advice or suggestion from WTO, they would do it. But WTO doesn't generate trade agreement. Just like in the case of America, if America wants to give you a free trade agreement, they don't consult with WTO. Or England wants to trade with Nigeria, they don't consult WTO. So, let's just see. But Nigerians and Africans should tune down the expectations so they will manage their disappointment, because Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is not going to do anything that African nations fail to do in order to improve their trade chances.
I would further like to ask, how much can her position as the Director General of the World Trade Organization benefit Nigeria in terms of her trade knowledge as an economist? Now, keep in mind the ability of Nigeria economy to not being able to regenerate resources for her country.
On the issue of, what's Nigeria going to benefit? The question is, what did Nigeria benefit when Liwani Lukman was OPEC Secretary General? What did Ghana benefit when Kofi Annan was UN Secretary General, and what did Egypt benefit, or what is Ethiopia benefiting because an Ethiopian is World Health Organization, the Director General or Secretary General. So again, I think is where we have allowed individuals, personal accomplishments to be as if it's going to define, a goodwill for the country. It does not. So Nigeria, improve on your production and agricultural processes, and the world will come buying from you. But if you think because somebody who is by birth is identified with your country and that's what's going to all of a sudden do the things you haven't done, it's not going to happen, and then you're going to get disappointed. So my thing is improve on your processes. Seek countries you want to do business with and see what it is those countries need or want from you and improve on it. And then generate an agreement. If there's a dispute, then you go to the relevant authorities, and resolve it. But don't think because Madam Okonjo-Iweala is WTO, Director General, all of a sudden, the efficiencies that you have in Nigeria is going to go away. It's not going to go away. And that's where you're going to get disappointed. Thank you for the question, but I don't have any expectation that manna is going to fall from heaven for Nigeria because of Okonjo-Iweala.
I would further like to ask about the World Trade Security, the trade and security with Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala as the DG of the World Trade Organization. Ngozi, in her lifetime, is known to work for member-driven organizations that have not traded on stock exchange. Now, that is more like an issue. Now, knowing that trade and security bonds that management plans to purchase and sell in order to make more money in a short term. Now, with this information as a global affairs analyst, what could possibly be a challenge to Ngozi as a Director General of the World Trade Organization?
Thank you. On the question of WTO and the challenges for the organization under the leadership of Madam Okonjo-Iweala. I think WTO is defined what it is they want from the Director General. It's just the challenge is Ngozi being the first female and then coming from Nigeria, Africa, where the excitement, there's what I call a hype over hyped expectations, joy because of such an appointment. People think all of a sudden issues that are peculiar to them is going to go away. It's not going to, because she just got a job for herself. She didn't get it for Africa. It's good that she's identified with Africa, she's identified with Nigeria, but her position is not going to address pre-existing conditions that Nigeria leadership or Nigerians have failed to address. When it comes to trade, people want to trade with a partner or partner nation that they think there's value. Trade is a value in exchange. So what are you exchanging? I think in her comments she made something about COVID and technology. So let's, for instance, what country is WTO going to say, okay, now you country A or part of the G7, you have to? Then there's no have to when you're dealing with WTO. Countries have to initiate it. So Africa, to overcome or take advantage. Now you have somebody who may be sympathetic to your situation and can, through the administrative structure, resources available to her, guide you what to do. But again, she doesn't make the decision. The WTO cannot, again, mark the word, cannot force any country to trade with another country. It does not work that way. So, but good luck to her. Congratulations for making such a monumental stride in her personal career. She's been a finance minister. She's been a coordinating minister for the economy. She's worked at the World Bank. In hindsight, what are the glaring examples of what those things did for Nigeria? Nigerians have to answer that question. The world don't care. The world is moved on. The world is put her in the position she is in, and then we'll see what happens. But her challenge. Let her start to tell Africans in Nigeria, look, guys, you guys have to do better job yourself. I can, as an individual, wave the magic wand in order to suit you. Thank you again for the opportunity to share my thoughts.
All right, thank you very much, Ejike Okpa, for coming on our show today. Ejike Okpa is a global affairs analyst, and he's actually talked about the trade insecurity at the World Trade Organization, with Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala being the Director General. Coming up next is Ahmed Musa Hussein, a public affairs analyst, discussing with me via a video call on education in the northern region of Nigeria. Do stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still on Public Intel, and it has been a case of kidnapping in Nigeria, where nearly 300 Nigerian school girls were kidnapped from their boarding school by the Islamist group Boko Haram in 2014, and then the world exploded in outrage. Hundreds marched in the country's capital using the hashtag Bring Back Our Girls that was first picked by then First Lady Michelle Obama. It seemed an aberration, but since last December, mass kidnappings of girls and boys at boarding schools in northwest Nigeria have been happening more and more frequently, at least once every 3 weeks. But last Friday, more than 300 girls were taken from their school in Zamfara State. They were released this week, the governor of the state announced early Tuesday. The week before, more than 40 children were abducted. More than 40 children and adults were abducted from boarding school in Niger State. They were freed on Saturday. On this note, I'm joined live via a video call with Ahmed Musa Hussein, a public affairs analyst. Ahmed, so good to have you here. And if you can hear me, we've been talking about Boko Haram for a very long time, whose name in Hausa, the dominant language in the northern region, means Western education is forbidden. And they have targeted and killed teachers, education workers, and students. What is your thought on this?
So the effects, are actually quite devastating because already northern Nigeria is Nigeria's educationally less developed region. And if you look at, we have the highest number of out-of-school children than anywhere in the world. Now, coupled with what's happening in the name of Boko Haram insurgency, this attack on education in northern Nigeria will have quite, enormous consequences for the future of the region, for the future of our kids, and for the future of the region. And today we're seeing that all the gains that we've been making, we've been trying to make in terms of, fighting illiteracy, in terms of developing human capital, are risks being reversed because of the actions of those criminal elements and the attack on education facilities, on students in our local communities.